Welcome everybody to Be Kind and Rewind with Ruckus, the only nostalgia-based show on Premier Streaming Network, where we invite pro wrestlers, athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, and notable personalities to come on and talk all things retro, movies, toys, games, and music. I'm your host, Mikey Ruckus. Joining me to my right, my co-host, who still hasn't figured out how to match his shirt and his hat. Keeping it, Will.
They match.
Keeping it, Will. How are you?
Go Carolina. I'm doing great. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling a lot better now that you're on. You know, I have to admit.
Yeah, who's on? That I'm on?
Yeah. I'm trying to be nice. I have to do things that are nice for my assistant. So, anyway.
I will cut you, man. Anyway, proceed with your shenanigans.
Joining us this week is a very special guest who needs no introduction. He is a staple within the hearts of many people within the Generation X era. You knew him as Sean on the Monster Squad. He's the director of Wolfman's Got Nards. Ladies and gentlemen, Andre Gower. Andre, how are you?
I'm good now. That was a fun intro. I like it.
Just kind of threw it up there on the fly. So
yeah,
I gotta ask, Ruckus, every week you amaze me with the guest. This one is, wow. I mean, thank you so much for doing this. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, well, apparently there's a lot of pressure on this show. There's like memory and like songs and performances. Like, I don't know. I may just completely tank it. So we'll see.
You did bring your piano, right? Because there's a keyboard preference too as well. So we need musical instruments.
It's really funny. I'm sitting in front of a piano, but I don't play it, so it's good.
Okay,
that's funny. I'm at my sister's house in front of a piano too, and says he can play it, but never can.
No,
he's still searching for the hand twin that can play for. Listen, guys, we have Andre here this week, and he has chosen a special movie that's near and dear to him that we will be doing a review of. The 1984 film Red Dawn, starring Patrick Swayze and a host of others. We're going to be touching on some pop culture from that era. We're going to be guessing that top 10 from the week, August 10th, 1984, the week that Red Dawn was released. We have a little show and tell segment where Andre's going to share a little something from his personal collection that he would like to talk about. And then we're going to go into wacky table reads. This week, we're going to be doing table reads, complete cold scene reads from Young Frankenstein and the Kentucky Fried Movie. And I have to tell you, I had completely forgotten about the Kentucky Fried Movie until you brought it back up again. You talk about a memory unlocked. I sat back last night just laughing hysterically. So great choice this week.
If you recall and you're watching Kentucky Fried Movie, or any of your viewers that know it or don't know it, and things seem familiar and that seem sort of like Airplane or Naked Gun and things like that, there's a reason. It's because it's the same guy. It's their very, very first feature. And their background story, if you don't know, it's fascinating. It's the Zucker brothers, David Zucker and his brother, and Jim Abrahams. They were from Milwaukee, and they ran like a sketch comedy theater, and then they had these things, and then they came out to LA and rented a theater on Pico Boulevard for years, and had their sketch comedy thing like in the 70s. And then someone said, you should pile these together and like make a movie. And they're like, we have no idea how to make a movie. And they're like, well, I know a guy that does. Let's bring him in. And it was John Landis.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And so they made the movie, and it's like half or 2/3 of the skits in Kentucky Fried Movie were sketches from the theater. And then they were like, oh, making a movie is kind of fun. And so we'll write another one, but we're going to direct it. And then there's a whole thing with they applied. All three of them applied to be the director, and the DGA said no. So the Directors Guild of America said, like, and this is the day. This is back in the day. You can only have one director. And this is actually the movie Airplane with these three dudes that changed that you could have more than one director, because Jim Abrahams went down to the county courthouse and changed his name to Zuckers and Abrahams Zucker's in Abrahams or some shit like that.
Wow.
And then got the credit and then like announced it. And then he was like, all right, fine. You can have more than, we'll change our rule.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. So that's how we got more than one director now.
According to David Zucker, which is one of the Zucker brothers, but and the only reason I sort of knew a little of that, but big fan of Kentucky Fried Movie and Airplane. Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen's hilarious, but it's Ryan Lambert, who played Rudy in Monster Squad, and I had a podcast for a while called Squadcast, and because what other podcast would you have? And Ryan is not the guy that goes up and like meets people or talks to people and asks them to do things. Like that always lands in my lap. But he was at some function at a party and there's David Zucker, and he went up and met him, said, dude, you've got to be on our podcast. He goes, come over to the house. So Ryan and I went over to his house, and it was ridiculous. And so we sat for like 2 hours in David Zucker's house, and he told us the whole backstory of him and his brother and Jim Abrahams and Kentucky Fried Movie, the theater, Airplane, Naked Gun, Top Secret. And in his office, he has all this great memorabilia, including like the Nun's Life magazine from Airplane. It's in a frame. He's got the anal intruder box from Top Secret, and the best thing in the world that I've ever seen. And I lost my. I don't lose my cool very much, but I was like, wow, that's rad. If you remember Top Secret, when Val Kilmer, and he tells the story about how he found Val Kilmer for that role. He was the song and dance kid on an off-Broadway show, and they're on the train and he's very studiously painting like on an easel and being very, kind of artistic. And then after the end of the scene, he shows the painting because he's doing a landscape outside of the train. But of course the train is moving. And so when you see the painting, it's all blurry and it's absolute comic genius. And that painting is in his office. And I lost my mind when I saw that painting.
That's
amazing.
Now, I don't want to get too far because we're going to get into Red Dawn, but let me ask you this. Do you have anything from any movie you ever did, like property like that, that's pretty cool for you?
I actually have a few things, but since we're talking about cool things for movies that became kind of iconic or a piece of iconography, is I actually have my whole wardrobe for Monster Squad. So I actually have the Stephen King Rules shirt that I wore on camera.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was driving home and I was like, I wonder what he got from that movie, because it's such an iconic movie itself, right? So I was like, I wonder what he got from that. So that's pretty neat that you were able to get that.
Yeah, he got that, and it's just the shirt you wore in some movie that ended up not doing well. And then, so it means nothing. And then, 20 years later, you find out that it has this giant following and a resurgence. And people are wearing their own Stephen King Rules shirts, and vendors are selling them, and companies are making them, and I'm signing them and taking photos with people in their own Stephen King Rules shirt, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
You just don't know. That was really it was supposed to be just this one-off kind of silly character description in a script that sometimes you have a character description and like they don't actually ever follow up with it physically or mechanically. And in Monster Squad, it says, and here we meet Sean Crenshaw, leader of 13, dork, monster lover, nerd, and he's literally sitting in the principal's office wearing a homemade shirt that says Stephen King Rules. And so the costume were made a red T-shirt with like gold iron-on patches from back in the day, which it's hard to find iron-on today.
Wow!
But iron-on patch, and there was probably 2 or 3 of those, to make the movie, and I ended up keeping one along with my whole wardrobe. In fact, but you don't know that's going to come out later, and then ends up being documentary gold when you get to show. If anybody's seen Wolfman's Got Nars don't leave at the credits because there's some fun stuff there.
All right. I definitely won't do that. So as we go into 1984, which was a great year for me, I don't know about you, Ruckus, but we're going to start with talking about Red Dawn. Let's start with what was your thought process on choosing this particular movie?
I think it's, I always get the question of what's your favorite kids adventure movie from the 80s? And like, it can be Monster. I'm like, it's never Monster Squad. I never vote for ourselves. I think there's always 2 come to mind, and I almost, I could have very easily picked my other one. But if we're talking about kind of nostalgia. And if we're talking about, kids banding together to, solve a problem or go on an adventure, everybody expects me to pick Monster Squad or The Lost Boys or The Goonies. Stand By Me is my other top favorite because I think it's a great story. It's a great movie, especially what the theming is and what it's about and friendship. And but everybody always gets a kick out of Red Dawn as my favorite kids adventure movie of the 80s. And they're like, that's not a kids adventure movie. I said, oh, I beg to differ. It's the ultimate kids adventure movie because there are literally some stakes in this movie. So, plus if you're my age or a little bit younger or a tad older, we're all Cold War kids. And, that was all of our entertainment. And, to have the big bad, actually invade and, it's up to the kids in the neighborhood, literally, to save the world. I know a little something about that.
In 84, Ruckus, you can attest this as well, right? You hit it well, Cold War babies, right? In 84, we were all worried about nuclear explosions and things like that. Something like this wasn't too far off, right? So yeah. Ruckus, and for you, what is your kind of fond memories of this back in the, because it was a monster hit, right? Like in a lot of ways, right? So what are your thoughts on it?
I actually wouldn't see the film probably for a year after it was released. I want to say maybe 85, 86, somewhere around there. But it was very much, I clung to this film. Once it started airing on HBO, every chance I got, I was watching it. And there's still, to this day, we were playing Fortnite this past Sunday, and what happened when I got surrounded by a team? I screamed out, Wolverines! And I literally just out of nowhere just came up out of me. So it's, and what a lineup for a cast for 1984. I mean, and it was really, like, looking back at it now, it's like, damn, they had the Greasers and the Socials together.
Yeah, that was a big deal when he did that, because I think it was Darren Dalton was in that, and he was still the little bitch role, but nonetheless, he was still part of them, right?
Yeah.
So, Andre, who was your favorite Wolverine?
Oh, I don't. I like Leah Thompson and is it Jennifer Simply? Their arc, because they're the scared kind of stereotypical, like the scared girls that come out of the basement they're hiding, and then they turn around and become kind of badass.
Jennifer Grey.
They all do. They all do. That's Jennifer Grey. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And you might have to go with C. Thomas Howell, just because he's just that guy, but then he actually cracks and he just goes full on. he goes full bore, and and he's the one that takes out Dalton, and he's like, hey, this is it. The movies, ironically, it still kind of holds up a bit because there were some real stakes. I think the movie making aspect of it would be different if we made it today. The pacing would be maybe a little different, but it's a survival movie. It's a coming together of a squad, and it's survival, life or death. And it's, that giant looming thing that we always, was afraid of as kids. And, we always felt kind of secure that we actually wouldn't get invaded. We would just get incinerated, from the air. Dropping under our school desks was really going to do a lot. And, I think that those characters, even, when you had the mix, I thought it was just a great story. Like, the actual Soviets, teamed up with, the Cubans, and because it was very stereotypical of the day. And, then they tried to do here's the rules of this. We're not talking about the remake. There is no reboot.
No, not at all.
But I think I think it came across as adventurous with a little bit of authenticity. The stakes were real. We lose everybody, and you kind of learn what it is. And there's no adult. There's barely any adults in this movie, so I think a lot of kids gravitated towards that because we hear a lot of that with Monster Squad conversations.
Yeah, no adults, and the adults we do have, they're trying to kill the kids, right?
Right.
They're the bad guys in this, so it parlays into that same thought process. Ruckus, did you have a favorite Wolverine?
I was gonna say C. Thomas Howell. He was because he's the young one, the piss and vinegar, who just kind of goes all out, and he becomes basically like kamikaze. He just the switch flips after he drinks that blood, and all of a sudden,
he drinks the deer blood.
And like everybody else knows, like he's a little overboard, but they allow him to be overboard. You know what I mean? So, and just having no fear in a setting where they did really well conveying oppression feeling like the doom and gloom, and feeling like that thing like lording over you, and him kind of rising up, and it's like it's do or die. You know what I mean? So that I always kind of gravitated towards him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was Jed all the way. I was Team Jed all the way. Something about just that leader, right? And then having to kind of grow up really quick in order to take care of the quote unquote weaker ones and keeping everybody alive. I find stuff like that super fascinating, right? Like, what would you do in that situation, right? Like, C. Thomas Howell was great. He grew up, right? But he became somebody different. He became a leader. He became a killer. And whereas Jed became a leader, and he had to lead a bunch of kids to do stuff that they never thought they were capable of. And that takes a lot as a leader to be able to do something like that. So a couple of fun facts about this movie, and Andre, you might already know this. Did you know that the CIA actually showed up to the movie site because there was rumors that the Russians were invading a town, and they had to show up? When the paratroopers came in, some of the paratroopers actually drifted too far out. One went as far as a mile down the road and was captured, and had to convince locals that he was not really Russian invading America. So could you imagine that? Like seeing that from the thing? But you would have thought they knew the movie was happening though, right? Which was kind of weird.
You would think, but I don't know if all the local regional townsfolk like read the script.
Oh yeah,
scene one, exterior. Now, all of a sudden, men fall from the sky. It's like they might not have known that. I think it's fascinating, but I think it does it totally conveys kind of the day, and I'm not surprised that the agency showed up not knowing. They're like, oh wait, is this actually happening? We didn't hear anything about it.
You wonder if they would send more than just 2 CIA agents, but
they're like, I'm going to write a report about this.
They couldn't even get away. And at the time, the movie had the most acts of violence. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records for most acts of violence for any movie at the time. So you can imagine that people around seeing that were like, whoa, what is going on here?
We lose everybody except for like 2 minor characters that go off, and they are Wolverines, and they're now the remnants of something that ended up being iconic, because I don't think something like the Wolverines, you're not going to go to like their 75th birthday party and, reminisce. It's like the story's not as impactful if they all made it.
Right.
And that's what I really like about the story is, it's not a happy ending. It's even though it's completely fictional, it's very realistic, has some authenticity, and nobody makes it. And except for 2 kind of minor characters who are the survivors, right? And everybody has kind of their own way they go out, and it's a little Hollywoody, but that's what we want. But at the end, you're like, well, shit.
What happened?
It's sort of the anti Hollywood movie, because it's it's not a happy ending. It's except for the fact that we won, like we won. It's like, but we lose our heroes. But that usually happens in bad stuff like that.
It couldn't be truer. And, if you look at it, Ruckus, in 1984, when this movie came out, there was nothing really like this. So I don't know if you guys remember a movie that came out. It was about the nuclear war the day after the bar that came on TV.
Yeah.
And everyone lost their minds over it because how realistic it was back in, I think, 82 is when it came out.
Yeah, it's 81, 82. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so realistic. And like teachers were throwing a fit. Kids couldn't talk about the next day in school, and people were scared. So that kind of led us up to that. But then watching this, like, you didn't know if it could happen, but at the same time, you're like, it seemed really real. But the Cold War, right? Did you ever freak out about that?
I think maybe because, you kind of know how the sausage is made, and like, this is a movie and it's a great story, and you're like, you're looking at it maybe from a different perspective. But look, I was a kid, I was gung ho, I was all in on, these movies. And, I grew up, with my dad, who's actually, my dad's older than most of my friends' parents' age, just by a few years. So, he's I grew up watching World War II movies. I grew up watching, Cold War spy movies and Cold War historical movies. But I think the authenticity of realness is like, if this ever happened, I hope I would step up and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I think that there's no way, if Top Gun was a huge recruitment for the Navy, that Red Dawn wasn't a huge catalyst for kids that were turning 17, 18 years old a year or two later that, enlisted or went to a school, an academy, as inspired by that, because it was, you could certainly use Red Dawn as a piece of marketing or propaganda for us.
Absolutely.
To kind of, gung ho it all. And I'm sure it had an impact on people. But I was young, in 84, I was 11. So, I could go out in the backyard and Wolverine myself, but, or with some friends. And, but yeah, it's that stuff's all around you. And, we used to don't know what the world was going to be. Now the world's completely different. I think this scenario is actually more plausible today than it was in 84.
This movie came out August 10th, 1984. And then we have the top 10 songs of that week, released August 11th of 1984. What we like to do here is guess the songs, see if you can remember them and then sing them as well. Now, if we get to a part where you feel uncomfortable, feel no need, Ruckus will handle it from there, right? But
just to let you know, we've never had anybody get all 10.
I think this is the week we do, though. Ooh. I think this is the week.
Why would you put that pressure on him?
Right? Well,
it's only going to happen if it's all Prince songs or Thompson Twins. That's it.
You're not far off. Okay,
Love it.
You're not far off. All right, let's start with number 10. I think this one, we'll see where we stand as we do number 10. Are you ready?
84. Okay.
84. All right. Yeah. Number 10, Corey Hart. You remember that guy, Corey Hart?
Sure. I wear my sunglasses
at night. There you go.
So I can.
Ruckus, do you remember?
My sunglasses at night.
So I can. Yeah.
I love that song. All right. Number 9. You big fan of Rod Stewart? So this was a huge hit on the radio, Infatuation.
Yes. Infatuation.
Yep.
And I can't sing it, but I'll give you a tidbit. I believe in the video to Infatuation, he's like stalking this like hot mama, right? And that good looking lady, I believe in this video was the actress Kay Lenz, who played my mother in a TV show.
No way.
So there you go. I'm not singing it, but I gave you a different tidbit.
What? All right. Number 8 from the movie Streets of Fire, another massive hit, which the fun fact about this is the video, you see the 4 guys performing the song in the video, and it actually wasn't them that did it. It was a different guy completely. It was I Can Dream About You by Dan Hartman.
I can dream about you.
Mm-hmm.
If I something
get it tonight.
Yeah. True story. Dan Hartman is a strikingly haired white dude. Yeah. He is not, because they have 4 black guys singing it in the movie, right? And everybody thought they were amazing. It's not them.
Wow.
He was pretty upset about that. There's a whole story involving that. All right, right now you're 3 for 3.
Good song.
Okay. You were dream.
So number 7. I think you're about to go 4 for 4. Okay. Oh. You ready? Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
You got to start it. We got to know that you know it.
Oh! I was waiting for Ruckus. He was going.
No. You go.
I'll sing.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Now I'm blank. Yeah, you can't start a fire.
Yeah.
You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark.
You got it. All right. John Alba is going to be upset that we had Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Number 6, Lionel Richie. It's Stuck on You.
Oh, Stuck on You.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Got a feeling.
I got a feeling that I just can't lose.
Guess I'm on my way. Yes. All right. I think you're going 10 for 10. Okay. I think you're going 10 for 10. And I think that if you don't know it from the jump, I'm going to start you off. Okay. This is by Elton John. Sad songs say so much.
Oh, sad songs, they say so much. Hurry on, hurry on.
I think we're gonna have our first 10 for 10 here.
Sing us that sad song.
It's
Our love is
nothing but
gone.
smooth sailing from here.
Damn.
Nothing but
That song
smooth sailing.
say so much.
La, 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 ooh, la.
All right. Number 4, Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it?
Oh, you
What's
kidding me?
love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion?
Boom, nailed it. All right.
What's love got to do? Okay, yeah, good.
No,
What
you're
are we
doing
on?
great.
5? What about?
Wait, no. So right now you only have 3 more left.
Oh, okay.
This one,
You
it was.
cut us off right before the harmonica solo.
I'm so sorry.
I hate your face.
No, I'll stop. We'll put it in
No,
post.
no, go ahead.
He's on a roll. I
I'm
want
gonna
to
make
keep
you
him
listen to
going.
it when we're playing Fortnite.
He wants.
on Sunday.
I want him to keep going right now. He's about to go 10 for 10.
Here we go.
It was the Jacksons with Mick Jagger, "State of Shock." It was on the Victory album.
It's the first concert ever.
Oh,
The Victory Tour.
Yeah.
I feel like Horseshack.
I'll start. You got me on my knees.
I can do the
Please,
guitar
baby,
riff.
please.
The guitar riff.
Oh,
I'll have to go 9 for 10. I can't pull it out.
Shock.
Yeah, you know,
When you got Marlon on the bass drum, on the bass guitar.
Put me in a state of
shock. Okay, now I got it.
shock.
That one I couldn't pull out from the jump.
That's
Never
a
heard it
memory
again.
unlocked right
Yeah,
there.
that's from the Like I said, that was the very first concert I ever went to.
We'll
At Dodger
count it.
Stadium.
Victory?
We'll count it.
Yeah, we're gonna count that.
The
Yeah.
Jacksons Victory Tour at Dodger Stadium.
Wow.
The fact that you were at the Victory Tour, we're counting that. All right, we're gonna that when we're done, we're gonna have the editor throw in balloons and confetti and everything. Okay, all right. Look, 1 and 2. This is easy. Number 2, "When Doves Cry" by Prince.
Go, Ruck, go. Get it.
Yeah. He said, "Go, Ruckus." You haven't had one yet. Go ahead, Ruckus.
If you will, the picture. You and I
engaged in a kiss.
Sweat.
The sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling? Can you picture the dream if you can? A courtyard, notion of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat between me and you.
You'll just leave me standing.
I'm not saying a word. So we can,
If I had known that, I would have brought the photo up. But in the 6th grade at Castle Bay Lane Elementary School, I won the talent show by dressing up as Prince, and I had purple-heeled leather boots on and a satin suit and a hat with a wig and a pencil-thin mustache and my little guitar, my very first one that I never learned how to play. And I lip-sync "When Doves Cry."
Send me that picture after this, and we'll drop it in post.
If I can find it, I got to get it. I beat out Aaron Rivlin, who did an interpretive dance to "Some Like It Hot."
Wow.
So sorry, Aaron, I beat you out in the finals of the talent
by the
show,
power
but-
station, right? Some Like It Hot by the power station.
Yes, some like it hot.
Yeah, that's by the power station.
Some like it hot. Wait, oh no, it was no, not some like it hot. I think it was "The Heat Is On" by Glenn Frey.
Oh, the heat is on.
Because she dressed up as like fire. That's what it was. Maybe it was. Yeah, whichever one was the same year. That was in the
All right, number 1, Ray Parker Jr., "Ghostbusters." Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Things are strange in your neighborhood. Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
So now, unfortunately, there's a tie-in with Monster Squad because the marketing department at TriStar decided to make a very lame-ass poster. Actually, our Monster Squad poster is fantastic. The art is amazing. On the top of it, they decided, 3 years ago, there was a big movie about ghosts, and it was a huge hit. So the top of the Monster Squad poster says, "You know who to call when you have ghosts, but who do you call when you have monsters?" And it was a bad idea.
It didn't work out?
Well, no, because the movie bombed. Obviously, that tagline didn't actually work for whoever came up with, "Let's tag on to the Ghostbusters." which has nothing to do with us or the classic Universal monster. But that's how advertising did back in the day. Actually, if you catch a little bit of the documentary sometime, we go into some of the bad advertising and the marketing campaigns for Monster Squad. There was actually they had this campaign, which was kind of cool, but they did these wanted posters. So they had sort of like these mugshots of the monsters. And it just said wanted, and it said the Monster Squad, and it had some other writing on it. But what really sucked is actually they put photos up of it actually wasn't Duncan Regeer, it was the other guy. It was like the test makeup guy. I was like, what are you doing? And they had these little corny saying Dracula was wanted for illegal blood sucking, assault and battery. Like I was like, Chris,
That's so 80s.
So the worst one was the Mummy, and so it had a picture of the Mummy and a profile, and then it said wanted for. I think one was like foul smelling, rotten, or something like. It's really dumb. And then it had armed or bond something bandaged. Something. It was bad. And then I'm not kidding you. They put this on a poster for a kids movie. It said statutory rap. WRAP.
That would have been WTF advertising segment.
We need to go pull that. That's available, right?
Yeah, I have one of those posters.
Oh my God.
We're going to start a new
my storage locker. It's good.
What not to do in advertising a movie like that.
Yeah, it's in. We have that in the because we had an awesome fan named Andrew Norris who lived in Maryland, and we went to his house because he actually had bought Duncan Regeer's cape. That was screen used, and he had bought it from the Forrest Ackerman estate, and he had a wanted poster, which was he had it waiting for us when we got there, and I went, has anybody ever seen the let me explain what's on this poster. It says statutory rap. WRAP. And I think, and I make a joke, and I think if some ad exec or some creative intern had come up with that today, they would have been packing their bag before they got it out of their mouth.
It wouldn't have even happened, right? So in 1984, we go from bad to good because we have some great movies in pop culture from 1984. So what I'll do is just go over a couple of movies from that year. And then I have a very important question to ask you when I'm done on.
We still got to give him props though, because he got 10 out of 10. First,
well, we're gonna have a whole celebration on that, right?
I got 9.5.
There's gonna be confetti and everything like that, right?
I'll take 9.5. It wasn't a gimme. It was like I missed that final par putt.
You saw him in concert live. We're also going to do a thing where
it's teamwork. We
need to put like a thing of wasted over my face when Ruckus has to correct me again. So, but as we go through this, right? So 1984, some of the movies that came out: Never Ending Story, Police Academy, Beverly Hills Cop, Romancing the Stone, Break-In, Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, Gremlins, Red Dawn, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Karate Kid. And that brings me to my question. In the Karate Kid, who was the bad guy?
Don't do it.
Johnny?
Damn it, he did it.
Or Daniel? You've had 40 years almost to look at it, but 30 years. Looking at it now, especially with Cobra Kai, who was truly the bad guy in the Karate Kid?
Is that to me?
Yeah.
Look, I know the conversation. I know the perspective if you look at it from the other way. And I think you can only look at it as adults from the other perspective. Daniel was kind of a putz.
Yeah.
But he was whiny. He was the new kid. He started, he kind of started right off.
Multiple times.
Not being like, hey, how's it going? Like it ended up being adversarial from the jump. If Allie with an eye was my girlfriend, I would have been pissed off too.
Yeah, you wouldn't let Daniel come in.
Because Elizabeth Shue was all there was and an extra helping of crackers.
Yeah, she still is. Like I don't know if you saw The Boys, the TV show, The Boys yet.
Yes.
She's
even
in that. You're just like, oh my God. Oh my God. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it, Ruckus. I told you, you won't listen.
Oh, you wait till you have that conversation with Crowbar. Because Crowbar says that Miyagi was the biggest problem in all the movies.
But I've said that. I've said he's part of it. You can't get a grown man.
He should be put in jail for child neglect.
He should. He's beating his shit up. Anyway, look. So in 1984, also brought us the famous 1984 ad for Macintosh computer line. Hulk Hogan defeats the Iron Sheik to win his first World Wrestling Federation Championship. There you go. You'll like this because this almost cost you 10 of 10. But Michael Jackson's hair catches on fire while filming a Pepsi commercial.
Remember that?
Yep.
First year of the MTV Video Music Awards, which don't exist anymore. The first CD players were released by Sony and Philips. And Wendy's was asking us, where's the beef?
Wow.
Right? Saturday morning TV brought us Transformers, Fraggle Rock, Snork, Super Friends, Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, some of the greatest toys that year were Couch Patch Kids, Trivial Pursuit, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and He-Man. So I got to ask, what was your favorite toy as a kid?
I would probably have to say because I was always an athlete and basketball is always, my favorite sport. So I had that original Nerf hoop.
Oh, yeah.
And I still have the ball.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I used to set up a full court. I would play games. I'd go for hours and just work up a sweat and injure myself and break the closet door. And I'd have the Laker game on, on the side. And I would mimic that, it was bonkers. So I would probably say all time, my Nerf ball, and I still have it. I also have these little these little rubber motorcycle guy. They're not a brand name. They're just nothing. But I had those, and somehow I still have them, and they meant a lot. And but all the other I did commercials for, so I didn't care.
So if memory serves it correctly, you did a commercial for an ET toy, right? No, ET video game.
I did. I was the kid in the ET Atari commercial. Yes.
Hello? Somebody out there? E.T. Video game?
It's the video game that lets you pretend you're E.T., running away from secret agents, falling into danger, finding a phone to call home, and discovering the best thing on earth, a friend. E.T., only from Atari.
And
the
then,
famous ET, Atari game.
I have been blamed on YouTube chat for tanking Atari because I was the kid in the commercial.
Did you know that, Ruckus?
No, I didn't. And I remember the commercial now that we're talking about it. So.
Oh, yeah, it was a massive commercial.
Yeah.
It was a massive commercial. So
the game sucked, but the commercial was big.
I tend to do a little homework on who's coming on. I might mess up the name now and then, but I'll know the person, right?
Yeah, that's not bad. And then with all the toy stuff and cartoon stuff that were toys, there was a time, there was probably a 4-year period that I did something like 25 Mattel commercials or something.
Really?
And it was to a point where I didn't even I just was already in them, and I went and read with the other kids or just showed up to set, and that was everything from Hot Wheels and I was the Poochie kid. There was a girl's toy named Poochie. It was a little doll, and I stamped him out. It was like a school thing. And I was the Poochie kid. And then I did, I don't know, a dozen Masters of the Universe commercials.
He-Man. That's still, I cried.
Introduced Beast Man, and I introduced Hordak. I was like, I'm Hordak.
Hordak. Skeletor. Who can defeat gruesome Grizzlor and the sucking leech? Grizzlor. Leech. Hordak and the evil horde. New from Mattel. Hordak.
So,
we're gonna throw some of those up on it when we do this.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's it's crazy. A lot of toy commercials.
That is interesting. That we could. Well, we can't do it today, but we could actually have a whole nother show just on those commercials.
Probably.
I think so. So we like to do a segment called Show and Tell, which is new to the show. So we ask somebody to bring something on and talk about it. So what do you have for us this week?
My mother's from Eastern North Carolina in a Air Force base town called Goldsboro, and she had a huge family. And I would, we'd go back and visit. And I have 41 cousins, first cousins, and I have 40 second cousins. It's a huge family. My mom has 11 brothers and one sister, and Dorothy's the only one left. She made it, and she's the second youngest. So it's this amazing family that everybody knows in Wayne County. But one of my uncles lived in Havelock, and down near in between New Bern and Morehead City in the beach, and that's where the Marine Corps air bases. And my Uncle Ed and Aunt Janice lived down there. We'd go visit them. And then there was a family across the street, the Toners. And I ended up befriending them and their daughter, Roanne, who is still, one of my oldest friends. And I would, go there as a kid and, we'd go out, run around the woods after she got married to a guy that used to, hunt deer with dogs in the woods and stuff. And, I've been going back to, Craven County and Havelock and all that area my entire life. Even after my aunt and uncle died, I would go stay with the Toners and stay like 2 or 3 weeks a year. And they all worked at the base. So I used to go on Cherry Point all the time and go to the PX and go around. And I actually played golf. I've played golf on Cherry Point when I was a kid. And Dick Toner in his front yard, he used to, he's an old school golfer, and that's the guy that gave me my first set of golf clubs. And I made a golf course around their house, because everybody has big yards with grass. And so I used to chip. I made a little mini course surrounding their little brick house, and I learned how to hit balls in his backyard. And then one day we were on the thing, and he bought me this hat. And so I have a old Cherry Point Marine Corps Air Base hat, and so this is my nostalgic keepsake show and tell of the day.
And that's amazing.
Yes. And the funny thing is, we're not that far from each other. We were talking about this off there, right? We're really close to each other. You brought up Morehead City and New Bern and Goldsboro. I've worked in all those areas.
Yeah.
And golfed in those areas. Like I was at the Jacksonville, with Camp Lejeune. I was a member of the Jacksonville Country Club there because I was there for a little while as well.
Yeah.
Golf that every day. God bless. And so now we're going to teach Ruckus how to golf as well. Ruckus, how do you think you would do in golf?
I would not do well at all. I'm putting it out there. I can do top golf okay, but like the driving range, but actually playing, I've never played before. So
Ruckus,
will you come and just host the show while we play?
Yeah, you can comment.
Run around with the mic.
Yeah. Or
keeping it, Will. You're getting your ass handed to you by Andre Gower. How do you feel?
I'm going and gearing up for it now, right?
So now you got to do it like a golf commentator. Be like, so Will is getting his ass kicked right now, and Andre's got a 4-foot par putt to drop 36 on the front. Will, how's it going?
I'm like, this. Yeah.
Hey everyone, this is Mikey Ruckus here to tell you about a brand new segment coming to the BKRR Show, Beat the Ruckus, where you send in your nostalgia questions to see if I know them, which I probably don't. And if you beat the ruckus, you win a prize. You can send your questions into the email, thebkrrshow@gmail.com, with the subject line, Beat the Ruckus. Good luck.
All right, well, that brings us to the exciting moment, the one you're trying to avoid, the one we've been working to get through pain of many, many mess-ups. Ruckus, what are we doing here?
It is that wonderful segment that we call Wacky Table Reads. We have our guests send us some of their ideas for their favorite comedies. Keeping It Will and I both choose a surprise scene from 2 of the films, and we do complete cold scene reads from these films. Today, we are doing scenes from Young Frankenstein and the Kentucky Fried Movie. I will let you know that Andre got these scripts last night, maybe today. I can't remember if I finished them last night or today, but it's been less than 24 hours that he's
20 hours ago. 20 hours ago.
20 hours ago. Okay, we'll go with that. But it's all good because, as we always say, whatever happens, happens. So, without further ado, the first scene up will be from Young Frankenstein.
Okay, hang on, I gotta get to that.
And talk about, once again, a memory unlocked. Like, this was a film that I hadn't seen since I was a kid. Gene Wilder is absolutely amazing, and I got a good laugh out of this. This is the scene where Gene is leaving to go to Transylvania, and Freddie has to say goodbye to his fiancée Elizabeth, she's more worried about her appearance than actually saying goodbye to him. And then Freddie has an encounter with Igor. So, let me pull this up here. Narrating and playing the role of the conductor, most important part in this, Will, is Keeping It Will, the conductor.
All right.
Playing the role of Elizabeth and Igor is myself, and Frederick Frankenstein is played by Andre Gower. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns before we begin?
It's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. We're famous for that on this show, just so you know now.
That's part of
I thought that was
part of the scene, Will.
I thought that was the setup and the payoff.
All right.
You ready? Let's do this.
Let's do this.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see.
Without further ado, Young Frankenstein, keeping it Will, you ready?
You ready?
Andre Gower, you ready?
I have no idea.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, scene.
Freddy is set to board a train to head to Transylvania. He is with Elizabeth, his fiancee. He's about to say his goodbyes. Elizabeth seems more concerned with her appearance than she does with Freddy leaving.
Oh, my sweet darling. Oh, my dearest love. I'll count the hours that you're away.
Oh, darling, so will I.
Freddy moves in for a kiss.
Not on the lips.
What?
I'm going to a party at Nana's and Nikki's later. I don't want to smear my lipstick, you understand.
Of course.
All aboard.
Oh, dear.
Well, I guess this is it.
Freddy, darling. Oh, how can I say in a few minutes what it's taken me a lifetime to understand?
Won't you try?
All right. You've got it, mister. I'm yours. All of me. What else can I say?
My sweet love.
The hair! The hair's just been set.
Sorry.
I hope you like old-fashioned weddings.
Hold on. The dogs don't like your performance.
It's all good. They can bark.
Go back.
I prefer old-fashioned night wedding.
I hope
that's
you
me.
like
That's me.
old-fashioned weddings.
I prefer old-fashioned wedding nights.
Oh, you're incorrigible.
Does that mean that you love me?
You bet your boots it does.
Oh, my only love.
Taffeta, darling.
Taffeta, sweetheart.
No, the dress is taffeta. It wrinkles so easily.
Oh,
All aboard.
Oh, there's that horrid man again. Well, hurry now before I make a fool of myself. Oh, the nails. Oh.
sorry.
Freddy tries to move in for some kind of affectionate exchange, but realizes that Elizabeth will not let that happen. They settle on elbows touching.
Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Freddy.
As the train starts to pull away, they blow kisses to each other. Elizabeth inhales the steam that is all around her. Freddy's train ride takes him to the Transylvania. He is dropped off and is now alone on a dark street. He hears a creepy foot dragging near him. Who writes this? He is approached by Igor.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
No, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Do you also say Froderick?
No, Frederick.
Well, why isn't it Froderick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, then they were wrong then, weren't they?
You were sent by Herr Folkstein, weren't you?
Yes. My grandfather used to work for your grandfather.
Oh, how nice.
Of course, the rates have gone up.
Of course. I'm sure we'll get along splendidly.
Freddy goes to pat Igor on his shoulder and realizes he touched his hump.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm rather a brilliant surgeon. Perhaps I could help you with that hump.
What hump?
Let's go.
Allow me, master.
Oh, thanks very much.
Igor sees Freddy's two bags, a giant suitcase and a small briefcase. He goes to lift the giant suitcase, and it doesn't budge. He grabs the small briefcase and leaves Freddy to carry the giant suitcase.
And scene! Don't worry about my spellings.
I try to be professional here, right? And try to read. And I'm just like, did you have your 10-year-old niece write this out?
Okay, Andrew will.
See, I've said that was a setup for the whole bit for this.
It was
genius.
It was
genius.
a bit.
I was long playing it. Long con.
Trying really hard.
It's a long play. It's the sting.
The slow burn, if you will. The slow burn.
Wire. It's the wire from the sting.
I believe it's
I'm so
all
excited
goal.
about this next one.
That was very, very well done, Marty Feldman, too.
I tried to do the eyeball thing, and it doesn't work.
It's very tough. I think he's the only one that can pull off the bulging eyeball. But most Mel Brooks movies are funny-ish. Everybody goes to Blazing Saddles. Nothing compares to Young Frankenstein. It is one of the top comedies of all time, and everybody asks, what are my favorite horror movies? Because I'm in this horror world. And it's always Shaun of the Dead, Motel Hell, and Young Frankenstein.
Shaun of the Dead.
We talked about Motel Hell. It's one of the first horror movies we did on this show when we stood on Twitch.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great.
Love that. Oh, I
takes
love
all kind of critters. And I think I realized that I vibe towards the comedy, silly stuff, more than the serious or the gore. And that Young Frankenstein is absolute genius. If you watch the performances, Gene Wilder's fantastic in Blazing Saddles, if you actually watch it. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic in this movie. But it's everybody else that's in Young Frank. He's the straight guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else around him is absolutely bonkers genius. And of course, Elizabeth is played by Madeline Kahn, who's bonkers anyway. And anytime I see her, it's great because I did a television show with her, and she played my aunt in the show. So I got to spend a year with Madeline Kahn. So that was kind of
really
fun. Yeah.
Wow.
And she's exactly that in real life.
Comedy genius. Absolutely.
It's unreal. And it just a force. And she's so funny in everything, and including Blazing Saddles. It's Two, and then Clue, Flame. It's just she's fabulous. And Marty Feldman's hilarious, and Young Frankenstein is absolutely a comedy genius about the Frankenstein story. It's like, and Cloris Leachman, Frau Brucke. It's Terry Garr's hilarious in this movie. Yes. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, what they were able to do that. If you look at, I think you're right. He played the straight character, and everyone else around him made that movie.
Yeah, he's surrounded by crazy people,
which you expected him to be the crazy one based off all of his other movies. Like I know this might sound nuts, but I'm a big fan of him and Richard Pryor and Stir Crazy. Right, I love that movie.
All those buddy comedies were funny.
Yes, yeah. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Them two together was pure comedy gold, was it not?
Yeah. I think it was just a rehash of the time of that kind of Frick and Frack, that Oscar and Felix, the buddy duos that they don't match, opposites. And I don't know who you could have picked in those times to do it better. And you probably would have failed if you tried. So, if you just watch if you watch Young Frankenstein or any Gene Wilder, it's the little tiny things that he does. That it's not the big things. It's these little tiny things.
The weird side eyes, the very small emotes that he gives to kind of let the viewer know like something's afoot. Second scene is from the Kentucky Fried Movie. Now, this particular scene where it's actually just AM Today, so we're going to read this off as if you're actually watching the scene. So you've got a couple of news hosts, you've got guests that are on, you've got people that are on location that are supposed to be reporting, keeping it will be one of those people. Yeah, and we've got gorillas and gerbils and all kinds of stuff happening here. So we're just going to read it straightforward as is. There's a lot that's going on. Playing the role of Ron, John, and the gorilla is Keeping It Will. I will be playing the role of Barbara. Frank will be played by myself. And also playing the role of Frank, Sheila, Joyce, and Judy is Andre Gower. So we've got him going for the cycle on this one.
Are you excited? I'm excited.
It's like,
He's
I
like,
think
"Why
this
did
is the most we've ever put on a guest ever.
Yeah, he's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What am I?
Just like I'm not a Gemini.
Let's
should be good. Should be good.
Do this. Let's do this.
All right, straightforward, just as it is, the Kentucky Fried Movie. 3, 2, 1, scene. Good morning. Welcome to AM Today. I'm Barbara Duncan.
I'm Frank Bowman. In our next segment, we'll see why school children are learning faster in Louisiana.
Why trains are running slower in Vermont.
We'll meet an adorable furry Australian friend.
And we'll take an up-close look at the nation's newest safety craze, smoke detector alarms. But first, New York City teachers are voting on whether to continue their week-long strike. Ron Butler with local affiliate WILO is at the convention center now with a live minicam report. Ron, what's the situation there? Ron, are the teachers still voting? It seems we're having some trouble getting the report back. We'll try back later in the program. In the meantime, this is AM Today, and it's 18 minutes after the hour, and time for our daily feature of debate, Count Pointer Count. Once again, here are John Fitzsimmons and Sheila Hamilton.
Well, Sheila, I guess even you and your liberal cronies have found the light at the end of the tunnel with love of our beloved president. The intellectuals have been much agitated and now having gotten the presidency by exploiting the problems they themselves have manufactured. He has done his best to fuel their anxieties about him. Sheila, will you and your pack of bleeding heart liberals never learn that expanding welfare rolls can only accelerate inflation and inevitably hurt most of those they purport to help?
Why, John, you old stick in the mud. I've been listening to that horse of yours for months. And you can take that crap and blow it out your ass. And for good measure, sit on this, John.
We understand that the teachers have completed their balloting and the decision is forthcoming. Ron Butler, do you want to hazard a guess as to the outcome of that vote? Oh, shit. It's 19 minutes after the hour, and now it's time for our daily feature, the Astrological Report. A quick reminder that these reports are not intended to foster a belief in astrology, but merely to support people who cannot take responsibility for their own lives. Joyce?
If you're a Libra and you've been hesitant about making that big purchase, hold off for another couple of days. Don't forget, your moon is in Sagittarius, not the time for reckless spending. You Virgos can expect an untimely death or perhaps a tragic dismemberment for someone very close to you. Pisces, it's a good time to pull the plug on that machine that's been keeping your daughter alive for the past 6 months. If you're a Taurus, see your florist. And if you're a Gemini, like me, well, you can expect the unexpected. I'm Joyce Wilson, your astrology. Oh.
Thank you, Joyce. With us today, Judy Morton from the San Diego Wild Animal Preserve. Judy's been a guest on the show many times in the past. It's always been an absolute delightful segment. Welcome, Judy.
Hello.
And what have you got for us today? I put your name there by mistake. Keep going.
Well, today I brought an Australian gerbil. It's one of the few that we've been able to raise in captivity.
He's tame, isn't he? He won't bite.
Oh no, he's very friendly, and they're real lovable. His name is Oscar.
Oh, hello, Oscar. Hello, Oscar. Oh, I'd like to get one of these for my kids.
They would make great pets, except that they really do need a wild surrounding.
Well, Oscar is absolutely irresistible. Understand, Judy, that you've got another surprise for us?
Yes, that's right, Frank. Now this next fellow may not be small, but he certainly is cute. At least I think so. He's backstage right now. I have to go get him.
Okay, go ahead and do that. You know, this is always one of my favorite segments of the show because I never know quite what they're going to be bringing out here. Oh, look at that. Look at what they're bringing out here. Hello there.
Well, this is Dino.
Hello, Dino. Oh my gosh, he's huge.
Oh, yes, but don't let Dino's look fool you. He's really quite gentle as a lamb, and as a result of being raised in captivity. And well, that's why we're able to bring him out here.
Is this a rare animal?
Yes, it is, Frank. As a matter of fact, we're having trouble mating him.
Having trouble finding a female gorilla?
Well, no, not really. We've matched Dino up with several likely candidates on a number of occasions. The trouble is that all efforts at reproduction have been unsuccessful.
I can hardly believe that after all, Dino here may not be the handsomest suitor I've ever seen, but certainly a big gorilla like this.
Well, we're not really sure yet what the trouble is with Dino. It could just be shyness or and natural reluctance, or even what we would call impotence.
Impotence. Oh!
Gorilla beats up Judy, Frank, and the production crew.
And scene! Will got fed the line that he's never heard in his life. Oh my God, it's huge. Oh, such a great movie.
Well done. Ruckus, take us out.
Andre Gower, tell everybody what you got going on these days. Anything that you want them to know about, the floor is yours.
Well, just, right now, if you're a Monster Squad fan and you like documentaries about movies that you liked and don't know all the story to everything or want to get some tidbits, please check out Wolfman's Got Nards. You can rent it on VOD. It's actually playing on Tubi also. But another thing that we can actually now talk about as of the other day is for you physical media fans out there, if anybody likes to collect things, unlike my two friends on screen, there's no collectibles.
No, not at all.
But if you're a physical media collector of certain things and maybe nostalgia movies that rhyme with Monster Squad, Kino Lorber is actually putting out a 4K re-release of Monster Squad. And in that package, they're actually including the documentary as a companion piece. So that's actually a cool get because there hasn't been a re-release of Monster Squad in a long time. There's never been a 4K release. And this is something kind of cool that we're all jazzed about. And Kino Lorber puts out some cool shit every once in a while. And then supposedly what the plan is as the documentary is a companion piece to this 4K Monster Squad release. Hopefully, according to schedule, they were also going to release a standalone version of Wolfman's Got Nards with 60 minutes of bonus features and extended interviews and things that no one has seen.
Wow.
So that's actually kind of bitching for us to talk about. Other than that, find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Andre Gower and Andre Gower Official. Come see, me, myself, Ryan Lambert, if we're appearing at conventions or doing screenings at your local theater, or if you want to do a screening or something, set it up. Hit me up. We love to come out and, host things and have good fun. And people, they always ask, how do you do that? And I was like, well, you get a venue, talk to the people that run the venue, and then you hit me up and we work out something to come and hang out. And people have great times. And
we may have to take you up on that, as a matter of fact. Absolutely,
do it. Let's do it. We'll bring some of the toys and we'll bring the stuff, and we'll do a show live. We'll do the podcast live, and then have a party or something like that. That's not a bad idea. And then go play golf.
We got to play golf. So I want to go back something real quick. Wolfman's Got Nards. I just want to go through some of the people that are in this documentary because this thing looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we have Shane Black, Seth Green, Adam F. Goldberg, who was, by the way, the creator of the hit TV show The Goldbergs, Heather Langenkamp, right, who we're dying to try to get on the show. We that's one of the ones we're after. Adam Green. Who is Andre Gower? He's on there. Ryan Lambert. Diva Zappa. That's amazing. And did I see? Did you have a wrestler on there as well?
Did what?
Do you have a wrestler on there? Somebody that was a wrestler.
Well, we have Matt Cardona, who used to be WWE Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Who's now the Indie God, or he has a new name this week or something, right? Something else. Yeah. No, Matt's he's awesome. He's a cool dude, and he's fun to know.
That's an amazing cast. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna rent that tonight. Okay, guaranteed. After
you'll dig it.
Yes, I'm excited.
And don't cut off at the credits because the fun stuff's during the credits.
I'll roll through. I'll even send Ruckus a copy as well. Ruckus, I'll rent you a copy itself and I'll send it to you, okay?
Whatever you say, keeping it Will.
That's right.
Listen, Andre, amazing time. Thank you so much for taking a part in this and kind of humoring us this evening and just kind of laughing along and being such a great sport. We took a stab in the dark to reach out to you, and you were absolutely gracious in it. You are always welcome on here at any time. If you want to talk about anything, if you want to do any funny scene reads or just anything like that, we're only a text or a call or email away. Ladies and gentlemen, Andre Gower.
Wolverines.